Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Had a New Dream that changed everything. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, growing up for Naruto, things were hard. Yes, things were incredibly hard. Until he met the old man and his daughter. As Naruto was a bit older. As he grew up without getting to know the Hokage so early. Naruto's dream was not to become the Hokage anymore. As he met her, it was the Kyuubi. As she was always there taking care of him. So he promised her that he would marry her. But she told him that he has to be on the same strength level. So Naruto started to study and bust his ass off to get stronger. In doing so, Naruto took over the red light district. As all of the thugs no answer to him. As Ayam and all of them, the Ichiraku family, as all of them are safe. And the people that used to treat Naruto like trash when he was younger, let's just say bad things started happening to their store. And extortion and a lot of those things. As the time passed, as Naruto was able to free the Kyuubi from his body, the instructors at the academy always try a way to hold back Naruto, always try to feel him, as Naruto was able to use chains. And when the Kyuubi was free, his chakra became even more dense and so much heavier. And he also made a new form for the Rasengan, a drilling Rasengan that came around his entire arm. As she then came back, as she slept with Naruto, but he didn't have much experience, so she told him to go and sleep with other girls. Naruto was a bit surprised by that, but he went and do it. As he went towards a brothel, where many of the girls knew him as he was in charge around here. As all of them wanted to go at it. As Naruto ended up even giving them money for them to start their business and make new life for themselves. As many of them left the brothel and went and buy stores and do all sorts of things over Konoha. Naruto finally passed his tests as the instructors, mainly Aruka, allowed Naruto to pass. As Naruto met Team 7, yes, he was on Team 7, Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke. As Naruto met up a girl from the brothel, as she wanted him to come over, as two other girls were there. As they own a store with selling clothing, but Naruto told him that he was busy, and he had things to do seeing that he was a genin now. As Naruto already passed his test, as he told Sakura how useless she was, not even holding back anything because he didn't really care about their feelings, as he was older than the two of them. As Naruto went home to see, the Kyuubi was there, as she wanted him to stop holding back on his instincts, as she ended up messing with him. The next 2 days they got a mission, as it was to help out a local clothing store with some new shipment that they were getting. As Kakashi and the others arrived there, as the girls seemed to know Naruto, as Kakashi saw that, as they told Sakura and Sasuke and Kakashi to help with the boxes around the back, while Naruto to help them upstairs. So yeah guys, so it's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say begin this new episode? Alright Sasuke, Sakura, let's go see what your job is, Kakashi said that I smiled. I'm used that Naruto had gotten singled out, but he wasn't worried. He knew that the blonde wasn't well liked by the village, but he seemed to be on friendly terms with these women. Several minutes later, Sakura and Sasuke got the hang of their job. Sasuke was scowling though, doing something as this, sorting clothes. Sakura on the other hand was actually enjoying herself. Unlike the mission yesterday where she had to clean up garbage, this was something she could get into. She got to see all sorts of incredible clothes before they became available, and she was even thinking of coming back and buying some of them. Kakashi was being entirely unhelpful as he read his porn. Suddenly, they heard a loud thump, like something heavy hit the floor. Great, that big oath must have knocked something over, Sakura said. After the way Naruto threw her out. She wasn't too fond of him, but she still couldn't get his words out of her mind. She never questioned whether Sasuke would save her before if she got in trouble. But the way that Kakashi had so easily taken her as a hostage and Naruto's words, she had to rethink that opinion. The problem was she didn't want to quit being a kunoichi, but she also didn't like to exercise. The whole time during the academy she did the minimum, except for reading. She always liked to learn and use her tests, grades to get the top kunoichi position. But she was only as strong as a reasonably fit civilian. Naruto's harsh words that scared her, however, it scared her a lot, painting the horrible image of things that might happen to her in the field. She was going to quit the Shinobi Corps because that would mean giving up on Sasuke, which means she was going to have to suck it up and start to exercise, which meant she had to ask Kakashi advice how to get started because she had no idea. They then all heard a scream, and it went on as a moan. Kakashi's single eye widened in realization to why they had taken her to upstairs, but Sakura was not so perceptive. Oh great, she said. He must have said or done something to make him angry. And now we're all gonna get in trouble for it, she said. Another scream could be heard of Naruto's name, but it didn't sound angry at all. And it was a different girl, calling out Naruto's voice. Sasuke was confused, until something struck him. No, it can't be. As his cheeks became a bit red. What the hell is he doing up there? Asked Sakura. Kakashi giggled. Make clones for me, Naruto, the last female voice said. Why would she want to make clones? Asked Sakura. As Sasuke started to become very uncomfortable. From behind you sexy blonde bastard, the voice was Kazumi's. As Sakura went pale, before turning red. As the situation was revealed, even Sasuke was blushing as well. He was glad there wasn't many people around, so they could see it. Kakashi stood there like a statue, before tear came in his eye. I'm so proud, he said. For the next 2 hours, Sakura and Sasuke felt horribly embarrassed as the female screams, along with a male grunt, could be heard. Kakashi spent the entire time staring at the wall, as his eyes were releasing tears, confusing his students. To the great relief, they finally came to an end, and they could go home now. Hearing footsteps, they all turned to see Naruto come into the room, with a big grin on his face. What the hell were you doing up there? Sakura screamed, her face so red that it made her hair look pale in comparison. I slipped off the road of life and fell into paradise there. Sakura spluttered as she just went quiet. Naruto, Kakashi said in a serious voice as everyone turned towards him. You magnificent bastard. As he gave Naruto a thumbs up, making Sakura and Sasuke face fault. Naruto then caught sight of something behind Kakashi on the rack. It was a long black leather coat with a pair of matching pants right below it and a pair of black combat boots on the floor. All 3 items looked expensive and badass. He made his way towards him and collected all 3 items as he made his way towards the counter. More footsteps could be heard as the girls came downstairs, their hair messy and their clothes roughly put on. I'll be taking these 3 things, girls, said Naruto. Yeah, sure, go ahead, Kazumi said as she looked dazed. Alright, he said. Seeing that they weren't going to ring it up, he just pulled out a large amount of money and placed on the counter, more than enough to fix the things upstairs that gotten broken. I'll see you girls some other day, said Naruto as a goodbye. Bye, Naruto. Remember, don't be a stranger. All 3 of them said, having gotten themselves together a bit more. Time skip. Team 7 was once again in front of the Hokage, ready to take a mission. Before I give you this mission, let me just say whatever you did yesterday has made a great impression on the clients, Naruto. The Hokage spoke, making Sakura and Sasuke twitch, as Kakashi gave a smile. Though they commended all of you, they were especially impressed with Naruto, say that he went above and beyond, and he performed to your utmost satisfaction. Kakashi couldn't help himself as he giggled, as Sakura and Sasuke tried to calm themselves, as Naruto just grinned. Sarutobi looked them over knowing that something was up, but he decided not to pry as long as the missions got done, and no problem was faltered. Did you pick up a new wardrobe yesterday, Naruto? Asked Sarutobi, as Naruto grinned as he remembered what happened before they got here for the mission. Flashback, as Sakura saw Naruto, as he looked different. Kakashi was late as usual, but Naruto was wearing the outfit that he picked up yesterday at the clothing store. A long black cloak that hung down, black pants, and his feet covered in black combat boots. What the hell are you wearing? Sakura asked. My favorite new clothes, Naruto said. I mean, why aren't you wearing a shirt? She asked. Indeed, he was wearing a shirt under the cloak, so you could see his chest on full view. I'm too sexy for my shirt, he said. Sakura sputtered at his response, As Naruto rolled his eyes, if she was going to act like this every time she saw a shinobi do something out of the ordinary, then she was going to be amusing and irritated. End of flashback. Oh yes, I just couldn't resist when I saw this at the store yesterday. Well, their mission today is going to be finding and retrieving Tora, the cat that belonged to the wife of the fire daimyo. Kakashi's eyes smiled, already thinking about the amusement he would gain from watching his genin chase that cat. Time skip. This is Wanker. I am in the west position. What's your position? Also, why did we let Naruto pick code names? A voice said. This is Princess. I'm in the south position. And you were lazy and you let him do it. And I hate you for that. Over. An angry male voice said. You could practically hear him scowling. This is Cannon Father. I'm in the east position. I hate you too, Wanker. A female voice said. This is Godly Blonde. I am in the north position. Take this as a valuable lesson about delegating responsibility, Wanker. Over. There was silence as they waited for their target to show himself. This is Wanker. Target has been sighted approaching the west exit. Make your way towards it, Princess. And drive the target towards the Godly Blonde. Cannon Father prevent it from turning east. Over. Roger, the third voice said. The next 3 minutes was a blur as the cat did his best to try and elude them. As Tora ran towards the exit, making a leap for freedom, only to smash right into the grip of a large fist connected to a larger blonde. Tora clawed the hand, but found herself ignored as the cuts healed quickly. Target is captured. Over. Time skip. As always, we have several clients requesting the presence of Team 7, so you can pick which mission you want. Sir Toby said as Team 7 came pick up another mission after another month of high demand for the apparently most popular team in Konoha. Today you've been requested to help the waitress of a nightclub move some furniture. There is also a request to help a woman move to a new apartment. The final option is helping the Hokage-sama. Please, give us a C-rank mission already, Sakura said. As the past month had been them getting dumped with all the work while Naruto sleep with every single client. And she had enough of it, surely, if they got sent out to the village. He could not give them the reputation of a group of whores anymore. She hadn't missed the way some people have been looking at them, especially after a mission, since Naruto never bothered being quiet at all. She has never been so embarrassed to walk next to another person. Ever since the tour mission, there's been special requests for the members of Team 7. It was just another way of saying that Naruto's going to have loud sex with another woman, while the rest of them had to stick around while he finished. The worst time when there was other people with him, as they could nothing while Naruto made their team look like an escort service. Kakashi was not being helpful at all as he told him that Naruto was just being perverse and helping complete the missions, and then he giggled like a pervert. I agree, ready for a C rank, Sasuke said. He was handling the situation better than Sakura, but he was still waiting at Sakura for Naruto to always finish the mission. Now listen here, you can't just demand a C rank mission from the Hokage. You only been out of the academy for a month. Iruka ranted at them. Well, I think they're ready to say Kakashi. Honestly, the team wants to get the any kind of teamwork done. A C rank sounds fun, said Naruto. Sarutobi looked at him for a moment before he made his decision. Very well, send in Tazuna. As an old man came in the bottle of steak in his hand. So this is the team that's supposed to protect me. A Cyclops, exhibitionist, and 2 brats. As he did not find the team impressive that was supposed to be protecting him, even if the blonde looked a bit tough. My team is quite capable, I assure you. And if they run into anything they can't handle, I will handle it. Team 7, your mission is to escort Tazuna, bridge builder, back to his home in Wave Country and protect him until the bridge is complete. Sir Tobe explained. Meet up at the gate in 2 hours, bringing up supplies to last for several weeks, said Kakashi. Several hours later, Team 7 and their client was walking through Fire Country as they were going towards the wave. Naruto's released his resistance seals, and he was feeling pretty annoyed that they were moving so slowly without the seals. He felt like he could literally step too hard and fly off. As with the seals in his body, they usually get tighter and heavier, but now he felt so free. Well, he was pretty much at his physical peak, but the more he worked on it, the more he could better reinforce his body with chakra, as he was feeling irritable, moving at a slow pace. But he was going to keep them active while on this mission, where they could face off against enemies. He had no intention of dying because some stupid punk got lucky and attacked him while he was trying to release his seals. At least the walk was helping him get used to his new speed and strength, being under the seals so long. Hey Naruto, Sasuke suddenly spoke up, much to the surprise of everyone except for Tazuna, who didn't know how strange this was. What? I've been wondering, why do you never use any ninjutsu during our spars? Sasuke has been forced to reevaluate his opinion on the blonde several times now. At first, he refused to call Naruto by his name, Instead, he called him dead last. But that ended badly when Naruto kicked him in his face for it. This had led to Sakura yelling at him, and got him kicked in the face as well. As Kakashi had them spar multiple times, and Naruto was not moving as fast or hitting as hard that they did in the bell test, so he was holding back. Everyone looked towards Naruto as they were interested in hearing his answer. That's because I can't, he said. Everyone looked at him in shock, except Azuna, who didn't know what the big deal was. What do you mean you can't use ninjutsu? Kakashi asked, wondering if it was the same problem that guy, student, had. I have too much chakra to use normal ninjutsu. How can you have too much chakra to use ninjutsu? That doesn't make any sense, said Sakura. I have so much chakra that has become so condensed in my coils that I overuse any ninjutsu or genjutsu that I try to use. In fact, I believe that I have at least 10 times the amount of chakra that Hokage has. The only ninjutsu I can use are the ones that don't require hand signs or charge huge amount of chakra that mean raw shape manipulation. Well, he could use the transformation technique just fine, but he just used up too much chakra, making the chakra coating around him so dense it actually caused a physical transformation. I didn't even think that he knew any ninjutsu besides the one they teach at the academy, asked Sakura. There is a library section open for Genins, you know? Where do you think the diet and exercise plans that Kakashi gave you came from? There's a library ninjutsu available for any Genins that go there? Sasuke said as he was shocked. They were free, ninjutsu up for grasp, and he didn't know about it? Don't wet your panties with excitement, princess. There isn't anything too powerful in there, since it is just Genins. But there might be more for you since you're fire nature, and we're in fire country. Sakura scowled at Naruto, annoyed the way he kept on insulting her Sasuke-kun, but she didn't say anything as she feared another boot to the face. So she asked another question. What kind of chakra nature you had? And how do you find out your chakra nature anyway? I got wind and water nature, which is my luck since those are the rarest nature in Konoha. And you need a special chakra paper to test your affinity. Why do you have two nature and Sasuke-kun only has one, she said, as that was unfair to her. Sasuke was wondering the same thing as Kakashi interjected at this point. He might have more than one for all we know, since he hasn't been tested yet. So, said Sasuke as that settled it a bit, if you can't use normal ninjutsu, what can you do with your nature manipulation? At the moment, splash water around and create a nice breeze. Since I haven't been able to find anything on nature manipulation yet. That's because it's a Jonin level skill, Naruto. There's no need to be in such a rush, said Kakashi. As Naruto looked towards him, some of us aren't lazy assholes like you, Kakashi. I've already lost 4 years in the academy because of those morons holding me back. And I have no intention of waiting to meet Jonin to learn that. What do you mean hold you back? Weren't you dead last for 4 years running? Sakura said. As Naruto restrained the urge, she kicked her in the face. Since she didn't mean it as an insult for once. I am pretty sure the instructors were screwing up my scores, so they have an excuse to fail me at the last of the year. That is why I only bother to show up for tests. I've actually been sending shy clones to the academy instead of going myself. Everyone is surprised to hear this, Sasuke and Sakura especially. Wait, you mean you're only 4 years older than these two brats? Tetsuna said in shock, as he thought that the blonde was a lot older than that. Seeing that Naruto was very tall, and he did not look like a teenager at all. The constant workout, it had burned off all the baby fat, as he looked like he was made out of marble. As his features were defined, giving him a hereditary look, and especially sharp teeth and whisker marks, making him look rather fearful. He was far from unattractive because a dangerous look usually excited women, but he was not really attractive in a traditional manner. They all gave Tetsuna a nod before Sasuke picked up on something that he missed earlier in the conversation. But if you have too much chakra for the regular ninjutsu, then why can you make shy clones? Because there's nothing regular about shy clones, Sasuke. It's a B-rank ninjutsu that only few Jonins know, because the high chakra cost. If anyone else than Naruto tried to use shy clones the way he does, they would probably run out of chakra instantly. Kakashi said lazily, eyes firmly glued to his book. As Sasuke scowled as he wondered how the blonde did that. While he wouldn't want to be unable to use ninjutsu, that chakra capacity would be grateful when he faced Itachi. The group continued on in silence for a while before Sakura asked Tetsuna, why doesn't Wave have any ninjas? As Kakashi explained the circumstances around that. As they came upon a puddle, Kakashi noticed that rain had fallen into weeks and a puddle was just lying there. As Naruto felt a low level of killing intent that came from the puddle, and the ground was much too dry for a puddle to be right there alone. As Naruto looked towards Kakashi nodded at him, surprised that the blonde had noticed it, but he looked pleased nonetheless. As the group passed by the puddle, the moment they did, two shinobis from Kyoryu's sketched out. Metals on their forehead leaped from the puddle, as Kakashi was at the back as they wrapped their metal gauntlet around him with the chains connected it. With a violent pull, Kakashi was torn to pieces, shocking everyone except for Naruto, who still had his hands in his pockets. 1 down, and 3 to go. Sakura froze, but she pulled out a kunai out of reflex as she stood right beside Tazuna. Sasuke snapped out of his shock completely as he dashed forward to the shinobi and left. As he evaded the slow attack and brought his leg around with a powerful strike to the man's head, knocking him down. As he turned towards Naruto to see if Naruto needed any help with a smile on his face, but Naruto's hands were still in his pocket as Naruto's boot had smashed in the man's face so hard that it broke his nose, driving the bones into his brain and killing him instantly, as a poison-tipped claw was leveled towards the ground. To him, the shinobis had been rather slow, and since he knew of their attack, yes, it was rather underwhelming. Sasuke grit his teeth. He was supposed to be the elite. Was he so much weaker than Naruto that he couldn't even show him up? Well done, all of you. Sasuke and Naruto neutralized the threat, while Sakura protected the client. Kakashi-sensei, you're alive, Sakura said, enjoyed. Of course, they only got a piece of log after all. As she held her head down, she forgot about the substitution technique, as she felt, well, a bit bad. Even though Kakashi had praised her for protecting the client, she was just too terrified to move. The whole incident thus brought back Naruto's words on Beltes, as it crashed in her mind. If she was out here alone, or if Kakashi was really killed and her teammates wasn't strong enough to fight them off, she would be dead. Just like Naruto had said, even though she had asked Kakashi about getting in shape, and he gave her diet and exercise plans, she wasn't too excited about doing them. Sure, she used them, but not to the extent that she could have. She was sure that she was still behind of what most of her academic classmates were capable of. Never mind her two teammates who were clearly more further than that by far. Those were the Demon Brothers, B-rank missing names from Kira. Is there something you're not telling us, Tazuna? B-ranked? I wouldn't give them anything above a C ranking, said Naruto. Well, the performance now definitely was a B rank, but they were probably underestimating you. As Kakashi turned back towards Tazuna, well, you see, there's a really dangerous man after me. His name is Gato. Gato? You mean Gato of the Gato Shipping Company? Said to be the richest man in the world, Kakashi said in surprise, not expecting that at all. Yes, but his shipping company is also out front for smuggling and drug dealing operation. Over a year ago, he moved in the wave and started buying up every business that has a fishing boat. If someone didn't want to sell it, he sent in thugs to get rid of them. And since Wave is an island nation, that meant he controlled everything. That's fine and all, but why did you say into a C-rank mission if you knew that he was going to send shinobis after you? As it is, this mission is now at least B rank or A rank. We would be fully in our rights to abandon the mission since you lie about it. Because Wave is too poor now to afford anything more than a C rank, even Daimyo has no money. We aren't even sure if he's still alive since Gato took over his mansion. But if you want to quit now, I'll understand. It's no big deal. That I'll be killed and my daughter would hate Konoha ninjas forever. And my cute little grandson would cry all the time. Tatsuna said. Kakashi sighs. He had a feeling what the hot-headed students would want to do. Sakura would be a relief about going back to Konoha, but Sasuke and Naruto would be a relief that the mission is tougher than it should be. I say we continue the mission, said Naruto. I agree, said Sasuke. Seeing that her crush wanted to continue, Sakura simply nodded in agreement. As both Sakura and Sasuke pray in their mind that Naruto did not end up sleeping with the man's daughter, as he looked over at Kakashi, knowing that it was ultimately his decision. Kakashi sighed. He knew that this was a bad idea, but seeing that the team was working, at least together on something. Alright, I guess we're continuing the mission then. Time skip. Alright, Tazuna, this is as far as I go. The boatman had carried them, said. Thanks, Kache, said Tazuna. They were now in Wave Country and there has been no further attacks, as Kakashi felt like it was going to happen soon now. Attacking someone in unknown territory was the best way after all. Naruto was paying attention to his surroundings carefully, also thinking that it was being too easy. Most of his intention though was on sensing any killing intent, as he was naturally able to pick up those things, after all, getting a lot of it when he was younger. The suppressed killing intent of a ninja wasn't that much different from a civilian. That is when he sensed a very faint killing intent coming from the bushes. As he thrust one of his kunais into the bush, the killing intent vanished, as a rabbit hopped out in fear. He ignored Sakura about frightening the poor animal, but he was sure that it wasn't his animal killing intent. After all, why would the rabbit want to kill them? That rabbit shouldn't have a white coat at this time of year, that meant. It was raising towards the Kakashi. As he then felt it. Everyone, get down! As Sasuke instantly obeyed, Naruto kicked Sakura's legs from underneath her as he dropped to the ground as well. As Tazuna was tackled to the ground by Kakashi. As a sword spun through the air, the sword stabbed right into a tree as a man appeared in the hilt of the blade. Zabuza Momokai. The demon played the miss said Kakashi. Sharingan Kakashi, the copy ninja, said Zabuza. Sasuke was confused. Why was his sensei being called that? Stay back and protect Tazuna. This enemy's out of your league, Kakashi said, as he raised his headband, showing his Sharingan. Oh, I get to see the Sharingan already. I'm honored. You know, you could just hand over the bridge builder, and we would have no problem, said Zabuza. Sir, but we have a mission to protect him. I thought you would say that. Zabuza flashed towards the lake as he went through hand sign. Hidden mist technique. As the mist surrounded the area, making Kakashi a bit more worried, as he couldn't fight with the Sharingan usefully if he could not see. Don't lower your guard. Zabuza is a master of a silent killing technique. Silent killing? Sakura asked nervously. As the name suggests, users already kill their target without a sound. Most of the time the target died without ever realizing it, Kakashi explained, as he looked around for a glimpse of the missing name. As Naruto ignored Zabuza's taunt about the strike points in the body, as he felt the killing intent from all around. Kakashi used a chakra burst and dispersed the mist, as the killing intent from the two of them started to raise. As Naruto watched Sasuke as he seemed like he was ready to kill himself. The only reason why Sakura was fearing better because she couldn't feel it, as she was not attuned. Sasuke, calm down. I won't let my comrades die. I'll protect all of you, Kakashi said, breaking Sasuke out of his panic attack. As Naruto sensed something appearing right in the formation as he spin and drive a kunai into the side of Zabuza's head, but the man burst into water. Looks like you got a fast one there, said Zabuza, as he was a bit pissed off. He never knew that one would move that way. It confused him because these two look like Genins, but the big one didn't seem like a Genin. As Kakashi gave them orders to stay out of the fight, but that speedy disposal of his clone was a different thing right now. If he didn't want it turned against him, he needed to stop the blonde from joining the fight, even if he wasn't as dangerous as Kakashi. As Kakashi pinpointed the voice and rushed forward as he drive his kunai right into the man's abdomen. But the man burst in the water and another Zabuza appeared behind Kakashi, already swinging his blade to slice Kakashi in half. Kakashi was sliced in half as he turned to water. It's over, Zabuza, said a voice, as a kunai was at Zabuza's throat. Yes, it is. Kakashi stabbed the Zabuza in front of him as a sword passed over his head as he ducked, as water came out of the wound from Zabuza in front of him. As Zabuza flipped with his blade and kicked Kakashi away. Kakashi was fighting extremely hard to get out of the water as it became extremely heavy, as he just processed the fact that fighting a water shinobi in water was extremely dangerous when water style, water prison technique. It might be a prison of water, but it's stronger than steel. You won't be getting out of here anytime soon. Now all I have to do is get rid of those two brats and the blonde over there. Sasuke grit his teeth as Naruto watched the water spear. It looked tough, but Zabuza had kept his hand inside of it, and that was a great disadvantage. Take the bridge builder and run. This fight was over when he captured me. He can't move as long as he's holding his prison, so just run. I'm not sure what you're thinking, Kakashi, but I'm the only one fast enough to outrun. No, I run here, and I can't do that while carrying someone. Not to mention he can just come after us after he kills you. As Kakashi felt a bit stupid that he hadn't considered that. You're not sounding very scared, Blondie, despite knowing who I am. Naruto blurred away with full speed as the clones are instantly cut down. That's because you placed yourself in a stupid position. As Zabuza was surprised at that. You're different than the other two. Those eyes of yours, they're dangerous. What's your name? As Naruto grinned, name is Naruto Uzumaki. Zabuza wanted to curse every ninja. Well, in his time, knew about the Uzumaki. They were destroyed because they were feared. A small island nation like Uzu was able to stand on equal grounds with the 5 great nations because they had the Uzumakis. Kumo and Kiri had allied together with several other groups to come together just to destroy Uzu, and they still lost a lot, even though they had the chance of 10 to 1. He could only hope that this one didn't know any of the crazy things the clan know. Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto said, feel free to throw kunai and shuriken at Zabuza. What are you going to be doing? Asked Sasuke as he got ready kunais and shurikens. As he didn't like taking orders from the blonde, but he seemed like he had a plan. Uzumaki's sealing art, chains. 4 chains came from Naruto's bat, not even damaging his cloak, as the end of them had sharp tips. Damn it. Goddamn Uzumaki, that was a curse. If he moved, Kakashi would get free, but if he did not, he would eventually get skewered by the chains or the brats. He couldn't even do a damn thing about it because they were all safely out of range from his blade. If it was just thrown weapon, it wouldn't be a problem, but those chains could keep harassing him from all directions. Your cursing seemed to indicate that the Uzumakis were a clan of some sort, said Naruto, interested. He had managed to find the name of a red-headed kunoichi who was Kushina Uzumaki, who was no doubt his mother. But other than that, it seemed like someone in the village had purged all information about the Uzumaki. He had long expected it had been or it was a clan, but this now confirms it. You didn't know? The Uzumaki was a clan alright. They got destroyed by an alliance between Kumo and Kiri during the Second Shinobi World War, because there were a lot of people scared of them. Zabuza answered he was stalling for time a bit. Thank you, I've been wondering about that for years. Sasuke was grinding his teeth together unknown by everyone. Another thing he learned about Naruto that made Naruto better than him. He couldn't have taken out those clones, and now those chains look very powerful. And now he learned that he was from a powerful clan that took two, creating the village to destroy, while his was destroyed by a single traitor. Naruto lashed out with his chains as his teammates started through kunais and shurikens. Zabuza blocked the weapons, but the chains wrapped around his weapon and started to pull it. He let go of the water prison so he can put his full strength towards the chains. This freed Kakashi though, who immediately attacked, forcing Zabuza to move away from his blade. Good work on getting me out of there. I'll handle it from here, said Kakashi. Zabuza found himself outmatched. Even Kakashi hypnotized him with the Sharingan as he made a mistake in the end, as he was smashed into a tree by Kakashi, great waterfall technique. Kakashi was about to kill him, but two Senbons stabbed right into his neck, killing him instantly. Thank you for your help. I've been waiting for an opportunity to take down Zabuza for some time now. The newly arrived ninja said, dressed like a Kiri hunter nin. He or she had long black hair and was wearing a white mask with swirls over the bottom of it with a Kiri symbol notched into the forehead, and dressed in the Kiri comeback hunter nin uniform core. No problem, Hunter-san, said Kakashi, just hiding how tired he really was. He checked Zabuza for a pulse just to be certain, and when he found none, he stepped away from the body. While Kakashi and Zabuza were having a ninja battle, Naruto brought the sword to him by the chains and was now holding over his shoulder. I would ask that you give me that sword, Uzumaki-san. It is property of Kiri after all. You want this sword, said Naruto. Well, it is yours if you get naked, down on your knees. Bitch, said Naruto, as he was holding onto the blade. Haku was taken aback by that, and he also guessed her gender, as she was surprised. Naruto, Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke said as they all groaned, as Tetsuna was trying not to laugh despite being scared. Hell no, I'm not giving up this sword to some hunter nin. If the Mizukage want it back, he will have to send for it personally. Haku was torn. That would be a perfect, reasonable explanation, and a perfect reasonable thing to do if he was really a hunter nin. And the longer she stayed here, the more likely someone to figure out something fishy was going on. She knew that Zabuza would be angry over losing the blade, but at least he'd be alive. Alright, I will inform the Mizukage of this. As she vanished with Zabuza's body, Kakashi looked over his team with an eye smile. Great work, team. He was about to speak further, questioning Naruto about those chains, but he collapsed. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura cried out as she rushed over. I'm fine, Sakura. Just a bit of chakra exhaustion, as he passed out. I guess you guys are carrying him the rest of the way to Tetsuna's house, said Naruto. What? Why us? You're the biggest and strongest out of the three of us, said Sakura, as Sasuke nodded. Because I got a big sword and I'm not afraid to use it. Time skip, Kakashi wake up as he felt weak. Chakra exhaustion, that's just great. As he tried to get up, commenting to himself, I guess I really overdid it with my Sharingan. Then maybe you shouldn't be moving at all, a dark-haired woman said as she was in her 20s as she just entered the room, hearing him talk to himself. Sensei, you're awake, Sakura said as she along with Sasuke, Tetsuna and Naruto made their way into the room. Yeah, I'm awake, but I'm not going to be able to move normally for a week. My Sharingan really take a lot out of me. Is it really worth using it if you put that kind of strain on you? Asked Sakura. Well, it's okay now that you took care of that assassin, right? Said Tetsuna. Yeah, about that. There's something strange about that, said Kakashi. What? Said Sakura confused. Well, hunter ninjas are supposed to destroy the body immediately to prevent ninjas from capturing it and learn any village secret. Not take it away. Also, the hunter use Senbon needles, which are rarely fatal. What are you getting at? Tetsuna asked as he was worried. I'm saying that Zabuza is still alive, he said, surprising everyone. But you checked his pulse, said Sakura, as she had been terrified the entire battle. Yes, and he didn't have one, but a skilled hunter nin would have no problem placing someone in a death trance. Aren't you overthinking things here? I mean, you completely destroy that guy, said Tetsuna. Shinobi must never disregard anything suspicious. That might be the last mistake they ever made. But now what are we gonna do? I mean, you barely beat him, and you won't be able to move for at least a week. Well, Zabuza's gonna be having the same problem for a week because of that death trance as well, along with his injuries. And I've got his sword, said Naruto. Yes, there's that. We are fortunate that Naruto was such a rude bastard and did not give his sword to Hunter Nin, saying that Zabuza will be now missing its most powerful weapon. What do you mean most powerful weapon? Asked Sasuke. Before he went rogue, Zabuza was one of the 7 missing ninjas of the Mist, an elite group of shinobis, each one carrying a powerful sword, and each sword is rumored to have a special ability. Sweet, said Naruto with a grin, and I'll be training you in the week before Zabuza get back on his feet. How's a week of training supposed to help us against someone like Zabuza? Sakura said. Well, it was you 3 that helped me beat him, didn't you? If he shows himself again, we'll just kick his ass again, said Naruto. No you won't. You're all just gonna get yourself killed, a young voice said. As Naruto turned, flashing his chest at Tsunami in the process, seeing that he wasn't wearing a shirt under that, as it caused her to blush just a bit. She has been trying not to look at the blonde for the entire time since they've been in the room together. And who are you, Naruto said, as he looked at the small kid. Oh, this is my grandson Nere, Tazuna said. Nere, these are ninjas that protect your grandfather. Say hello to them, said Tsunami. Why? They're all just gonna die when Gato sends his man to kill them. Nere, that's very rude, his mother said. Gato already sent his strongest and feel. Anyone else he sent is gonna be like a hired thug, which are nothing but sheep against ninjas. Whatever, you should just all go home before you get killed, Inari said, as he started to leave the room. Please, Inari, he's... Tsunami tried to explain. He's lost hope, said Naruto, finishing for her. She looked towards Naruto in surprise, as he figured out so quickly. How did you know? I've seen it before. Those like him go around telling everyone no hope is this, because they hate the fact they cannot hope anymore, and they don't like to see others who still can. As Kakashi narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. Time skip, the entire group, except Inari who taken his food up to his room, were enjoying Tsunami's cooking. It really was good food, but Naruto had seen how anxious she was looking at the pantries and refrigerator when they were eating. Clearly, she was worried. How about feeding so many people is going to impact her feeding her family in the future? The occasional glance and blush that she sent towards him was obviously not missed as well, as he didn't know if Sasuke and Sakura had seen, but was just not acting like they did. It was always amusing seeing their face, knowing that someone in their team was sexually active, as he didn't know who claimed that all Genins were adults once they get their head banged. After all, was Kakashi adult when he was 6? Yeah, that sounds like a real smart move right there, giving a 6-year-old access to alcohol, tobacco, porn, and let's not forget the brothels. As Naruto saw the pictures on the wall, someone was cut out of them, as he knew that that person was responsible. Yes, he had something to do with things getting so bad, or maybe tried to help and got himself killed, or something. But now was not time to be asking that. As he thanked Tsunami for dinner as he went to talk to Kakashi, he gave him a look before heading outside, as Kakashi followed after him a second later. As they both stood outside. My mother was Kushina Uzumaki, wasn't she? Kakashi was looking at Naruto until he heard that question. He was surprised. How did you find out? You just told me, but I've suspected for a long time. Kakashi scowled that the boy had used that trick on him. There is only one other Uzumaki in the village, from me in recent times. I used a transformation technique to get it out of someone, seeing that no one wanted to talk to Naruto Uzumaki about it for some reason. As Kakashi winced at that, as he didn't agree with Sarutobi to keep the truth from Naruto for so long, and clearly he was more than ready now. Do you know who your father is too? The fourth. That was actually easier to figure out, seeing that my looks are discreet, and mom and dad hadn't really been discreet about the relationship. Of course, the real reason why it was so easy to figure out because Zana had told him, but Kakashi didn't need to know that. Naruto, the Hokage was just trying to keep you protected by keeping it hidden. Don't make excuses for him, Kakashi. The real reason he didn't tell me is because he didn't want to deal with the hassle. He does like to rock the boat in his old age, so he decided just to leave it alone. This was the main reason that Naruto didn't trust or want anything to do with the old man. The man was so, well, ignorant about everything that he just sat on information and let the council practically run the village. He might claim to hate the paperwork, but he always used it above not doing anything. As far as Naruto was concerned, the village hadn't had a Hokage since the fourth died. Sarutobi might have been a random citizen, just dressed up and keeping the chair warm. I bet he even told you not to approach me until I end up on your team, said Naruto. Kakashi just nodded grimly, confirming it, as Sarutobi had indeed done that, claiming that he would draw too much attention to Naruto. Jiraiya was in a similar situation. The man was Naruto's godfather, so he had more right to take Naruto in and take care of him. But if Jiraiya had taken him in, a lot of attention would have been on him, not to mention the fact that he had a spine network to mine. And he also just lost someone who has most likely been a son to him. Yes, he was going through a lot. As Sarutobi promised Jiraiya that Naruto would be well taken care of and ready to become his apprentice once after he became a shinobi. But clearly the first part of that promise did not work out the way it should. especially since the academy had screwed him over badly. If Naruto was able to graduate when he was supposed to, then Kakashi wasn't sure which one of them would be the strongest right now. But he strongly suspected that it wouldn't be him. Seeing that the secret was blown, Kakashi told him things about his parents that he did not know yet. We should get some sleep, he said after a while. We got training to do tomorrow. You go on ahead, I'm going to stay out here for a little longer. Time skip. Tsunami was sleeping peacefully in her futon. As always. As the team from Konoha was sleeping in the same room. Her protest of a girl sharing a room with 3 meals was waved off in 3 different ways. Sasuke simply grunted. Kakashi said that Sakura need to get used to it anyway. Embarrassment to her teammates was something that needed to go as soon as possible. Naruto said that he'd prefer older woman that wink at Tsunami. That was missed by everyone except for her. This had happened before Naruto went to talk to Kakashi. Her eyes snapped out in panic as a hand was pressing her mouth to stop her from screaming. Shh, it's just me. Came a whisper in a familiar voice. She calmed down as she caught sight of the deep blue eyes that almost glowed in the darkness of her room. Naruto-san, what are you doing here? As she looked at him, he just woken her up and wake her up in a way that she thought that she was about to get raped or something. No honorific please, I hate those things, said Naruto. Fine, Naruto, now what are you doing in my room middle of the night? She insisted, getting annoyed now, but at least her heart was slowing down. As he was not wearing his cloak, I need to talk to you in private, and this seemed like the best time to do it. It seemed like the best time and place to have a private conversation is the middle of the night in my futon, she said. Well, I want to talk to you as fast as possible, and I didn't know when I get the chance. She huffed at the twisted logic. But she might as well go along with it, since the blonde was not going to leave until he get what he came for. Fine, what do you want to talk about? Inari's attitude. It has something to do with that man whose face was removed from the picture, wasn't it? She looked at him in shock, but he managed to figure that much already. Yes, Inari's father died, not too long after he was born. Kaiza saved him from drowning, and the both of them got close really quickly. Kaiza had come to Wave, chasing after his dreams. We married not long after he saved Inari, and Kaiza became a hero to Wave and Inari. She said softly, trying to hold back tears. Sounds like a good guy. What happened, said Naruto. Kaiza always said if you value something you have to grab hold of it and protect it with 2 arms. He wasn't willing to let Gato just take over, so he fought against him. Then one day they dragged him off to the market, broke his arms, and executed him in public. After saying that, she broke down into tears, as the only thing was there was him, so she held on to him. Naruto grimaced. He had an intent her to relive painful memories, and he didn't know what to do with a crying woman. But he couldn't just leave though, since he was the one that put her in this state. Not knowing what else to do, he just made her comfortable as he held her close while rubbing her back. Despite him breaking into her room, she was grateful that he was there now. She was never given a chance to grieve for Kaizan, worrying about Inari's mood, and the changes that were happening, and worrying about her father and everything else. This was the first time in a year that she was able to just cry and let go. Trying to be strong all the time, holding back her own grief, while helping Inari wasn't easy. Especially since the outlet that he had gotten, not really caring for most things. She always tried to hold back her tears, but now it just came out flooding. And when she heard about her father Bridge, and that Gato was sending people to kill him, that was even worse than her. That was the reason he went Konoha to hire ninja in the first place, but Gato simply hired his own. She was bursting herself to hear that they were ambushed and killed on the road. But to her great relief, they came back home safely. As she heard about Naruto and Kakashi, how strong they were, and they protected her father from Tazuna. As she hoped that the blonde, yes, that they might have a hope of surviving this. She knew that Kakashi was the team leader and supposed to be the stronger of the 2 of them, but Naruto had a strange charisma about him that made you think that he could beat a mountain down if he got in his way. When her tears subsided, Naruto wanted to go back to his room, but she held on to him. Please, I don't want to be alone right now, she said. He was surprised at her request, as he thought that she would be angry at him prying into things like that. Alright, he said, as he used his thumb to wipe away what was left of her tears. They moved around until she was lying on his chest. She expected him to wrap his arms around her, but she felt him getting his pants off. What are you doing, she said, her face becoming red. She wanted to spend the night, but she wasn't thinking about sex. He chuckled as her body vibrated. Don't worry, I just can't sleep in these pants. They look badass and uncomfortable when standing up, but they suck when I'm trying to sleep in them. Oh, okay, she said. When the pants were finally off, his arm wrapped around her and pulled her closer to his chest. It felt like he was protecting her with all of his might. He was so much bigger and it felt like nothing could do her in his arms. She was ready to fall asleep instantly, but she felt something growing and pressing against her. As she blushed, Naruto? I know, I'm holding a beautiful woman so it can't be helped. Consider it a compliment. Alright, she said. You know, if you keep on fidgeting like that, you're just going to increase it. As she kept on shaking a bit, pressed this closely. As she felt it, it was big, very big, as she felt nervous. Despite her embarrassment, exhaustion finally set in, as she fell asleep. Time skip, Tsunami woke up, very comfortable, as she heard the beating heart. If it was not for the fingers running through her hair, she would have just stayed there and fell back asleep. But she still didn't want to open her eyes and return to reality. She hadn't felt this good in a very, very long time, and she wanted to draw it out as much as possible. She was well aware that the whole thing was inappropriate, sleeping with a man that she met the other day, but she didn't really care at the moment. It has been so long since anything good happened in her life that she was going to make something like this stop her from enjoying herself, as she has never seen a ninja before. But even her can tell that there was something different about him that set him aside from a hired thug, as she knew that they were incredibly safe. As she felt his strong muscles, she knew that they were just packed with power, ready to strike. As she knew that thugs and bandits would never be able to touch his man, and know that Gato, prize warrior, was out of the fight. They were safe at the moment. Until Gato came back, but she was confident that they could handle him. They beat him before. And Naruto wasn't even fighting. With a regretful sigh, she decided it was time for her to get up. Good morning, she said, as she opened her eyes. Morning. Decided to get up. He teased with a grin, making her flush slightly. I prefer not to, but I got to make breakfast. She was always the first to wake up and make breakfast. And I might imagine that Tetsuna might be upset that one of the shinobis hired to protect him sleep with his daughter on the first day of meeting her. You're making it sound worse than it actually is, she said. True, even though the way you were wriggling against me made it hard for me to resist making any moves on you. As he lightly groped her ass, she was looking so mortified. It was hard not to burst into laughter. Come on, let's get up before someone walks in on us. As they got dressed and went downstairs. Sometime later, breakfast was finished, just as the others started to make their way down. Inari once again took his food and left the table, as he glared at all of them, without saying a word, as Tsunami sighed in disappointment. I'm going to need to go town today and buy more food, Tsunami said. Could one of you go with her, Tetsuna asked. He wasn't feeling comfortable for his daughter to go and buy groceries alone, with Gato after his head. What are you planning to train us in, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked. Before the Jonin could say anything, I was going to teach her to climb trees. As everyone except for Naruto looked at him like he was mad, as they wonder how was that going to be useful for helping fighting Zabuza. Well, in that case, I'll go with Tsunami. I already know how to do that. She was happy to hear that because she was concerned to ask the blonde to accompany her anyway. Without your hands, Kakashi said, as he looked at Naruto. Everyone else looked at him like he was even more crazy. Yes, without my hands. I know how to walk on water as well. Without my hands if you want to know. What are you guys talking about, Sakura said. This conversation didn't make any sense to her. He's going to teach her to walk up vertical surface by using her chakra, said Naruto. Why do you already know how to do that, Sasuke asked her skull. 2 words, Sasuke. Genin, library, said Naruto. Sasuke scowled some more. He really needs to get in the library as soon as they get back. Kakashi, I want you to show me those elemental manipulation exercises as soon as Nam and I come back from town. You do know that the exercises will take more than a week to master, right? And even if you do master them, you won't be able to use them without knowing any wind or water techniques. Well, if you know anything else I could train in that could be useful in 1 week, I'm all ears. Well, I guess you got a point there, said Kakashi. Time skip. Thank you for coming with me, said Tsunami, as Naruto's sword was strapped to his back with an improvised harness. It's no problem, I could hardly let a pretty woman like you go into a dangerous place like this alone. As he smiled towards her, as she blushed a bit. He never liked seeing women sad, as he wanted her to be in a better mood than the one she was in yesterday. As Naruto saw the people, many of them looked like they can't even stand up. Rags were barely hanging off of them. Many of them looked fearful at first, but when they saw him walk next to Tsunami peacefully, they calmed down. As he saw the food that they were selling at the place, poor quality, and large prices, his respect for Tsunami cooking went up a few notches, as he had no idea how she made food with so poor quality materials. This actually reminded me of my old childhood, said Naruto, as she was picking out the vegetables. What do you mean, she said, confused. Is Konoha a prosperous village? Oh, it is, but I'm not too liked by the villagers, so they sold me spoiled food at triple the price. Naruto explained. But why, she asked. It was due to certain events that took place at my birth. They blamed me even though I was a baby at the time. But that's insane. How could they blame you for just a baby at the time? Because people are stupid, he said. They had bought everything Tsunami picked out by now and making their way down the street. But surely not everyone was like that, she said hopefully. No, not everyone. A ramen owner and his daughter was very kind to me and some other people. In my experience, people can be brave and wonderful, but sometimes as a group, they're nothing but animals. He made no talking about Xana despite she was a fact that he didn't went senile at a young age. What do you mean? Asked Tsunami. Take the situation wave for no as example, said Naruto. Your husband saw the Gato's bad news and fought against him, but he failed. If everyone had fought against him, then you would have never gotten a stronger hold in the country. But everyone was telling themselves that they got too much to lose if they take a risk, never even considering what might happen if Gato actually took over. No, they're sitting hopeless in the street, but they still won't help Tazuna even if they got nothing to lose. The people in Konoha did something similar to me. They just condemned me, because that was what everyone else was doing. Most of them never gave a single thought to why. They just heard it somewhere and believed in it. As she knew that what he said was the truth, as she was shaken by his words. The people looked up to Kaisa as a hero, but they never stand with him. And now they were paying the price for their cowardness. As the both of them started to walk until Naruto felt a tug on his coat, as he looked to see a girl, about 6 years old. She looked terrified that he'd be angry at her, but the groan of her stomach, that he could hear clearly, made her desperate enough to approach. As she thought he was looking much healthier than everyone else here, and that he might give her something. Do you have any food, mister? She asked as she was scared, cuffing her hands in front of her. Looking at the small girl, he was reminded himself at a young age. As he reached into his coat, as he went towards one of the seals inside. As he unsealed few of the ration bars he had in there. They tasted as bland as cardboard, but there was a lot of calories packed in them. As he gave her them, she gave a bright smile and thanked him before she rushed off. That was very kind of you, she said. Before Naruto could say anything to Tsunami, there was a commotion. Watch where you go, you filthy little brat, as he turned back towards the little girl. An unwashed, looking, more than tipsy thug looked at the girl. As he raised his hand, Naruto rushed off as Tsunami went after him. Naruto grabbed the thug's hand. As he turned towards the girl with a smile. Run along, sweetie, he said. She nodded as she picked up the ration bars as she rushed off. Naruto grabbed the man and pulled him into the alley, Tsunami following them. To Naruto, this was a perfect opportunity. He needed more information on Gato. As soon as the man got back to his feet, he rushed at Naruto to punch him, but Naruto caught his fist. As Naruto twisted his hand, as he was forced to drop to his knees in pain. We're gonna kill you for this, you bastard. I work for Gato, and anyone that go against him is gonna be killed. As Naruto smiled as his sharp teeth could be shown. Yes, the idiot just gave away that he worked for Gato. Tell me what Gato was planning to do about the bridge builder. Screw you, the man said. Naruto crushed the bones in the man's wrist as he cried out in pain. Predictably, no one came to check what was going on. They were too scared. You got plenty of bones left. I'm gonna break each and every one of them until you answer me. The man's nerve broke as he started to spoke. He's just gonna wait for that ninja he hired to get better and take care of it. Is there anything else there to ask? The man hesitated as Naruto grabbed his other arm and started to squeeze. Okay, he also told us to gather that spot from the bridge a week from now, but we don't know what for. Gato sold that more piece of shit that he took here in Konoha. Yes, just like those guys that he had to deal with. Their greed always got the better of them. I told you everything, now let me go. Naruto's smile reached his hand out. Snap! The man's neck was broken as Naruto pulled out a scroll and sealed his body away. Turning back to the entrance, he saw pale and shaking Tsunami looked at him with wide eyes. Shit. Sorry you had to see that, Tsunami, he said. She was trying to combine the image of the blonde as the caring man that she saw so far, but what she saw, that cold, brutal snapping of a neck. She knew that killing was a part of the life of a shinobi, but seeing it was something differently. Entirely different. She didn't feel sorry for that man he killed, but it was just the action, the way he did it. So brutal. It's alright, she said. They made their way back to the house in silence. As she finally spoke. Does it bother you that you kill like that? Not anymore, said Naruto. It bothered me when I made my first kill when I was 12. But I realized a long time ago that some people need to die. Just like Gato is going to die at the end of this no matter what. As she heard the way he spoke, like that was the only way. She started to bite her lips and blush in embarrassment before she spoke. Will you come to my room tonight again, she asked. Well, Naruto said, if the client won't have her way with me, as a shinobi under your employ, I cannot refuse. She slapped his arm, blushing. It's not like that, she said. Shut up. She then asked another question once she calmed down. Is that really true? That you cannot refuse something like that? She was thinking about Kunoichi and wondered if they were forced to sleep with clients, because she knows some of them might be like that. No, not real. Clients are warned that demands like that are not really tolerated. At least, that's how it is in Konoha. I don't know it is in other villages. As they arrived at the house, as she went to put away the groceries, as Naruto made his way to see what Team 7 was doing in the forest. But guys, if the steps right here, if what's the next part of this or not to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.